All right, everybody. Another episode of Smoking That Ish coming at you from the D Game Podcast Studios. D Game 6923 on YouTube. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, make up an imaginary friend, create them an account, and have them subscribe. And then you can watch it with them or for them and pretend you are them or whatever. I don't really care. Just subscribe. All right. Shout out to Unity Road and the Coffee House. They have a big event coming up. Unity Across the Industry. It'll be going on from 12 to 5 at Unity Road. They're in Hartford. So there will be events from 12 to 5, cultivator booths, med card clinic, carnival games, beanbag tournament, consumption lounge for med card holders only, food truck, and then from 6 to 8 p.m. stoner bingo, whatever that is. I just imagined something to do with bingo and being stoned, so I qualified for that. And it's free and open to the public, but you must be 18 plus. All right, it's at 407 North Opal Lane, Hartford, South Dakota, and that is on the 29th of July. So definitely go check that out, or you're going to miss out on a huge event. All kinds of people going to be there, all kinds of things, all kinds of stuff. If you like cannabis, the cannabis industry in South Dakota, you should be there. Shout out to the Tea Tree, just for being the Tea Tree and being solid all the time. Just, showing love. Shout out to Eugene. Eugene is loud. Going to be talking a little bit about him later and Quest. Some shots fired at DNS there. Shout out to the Flower Shop dispensary and their fucking shake Sundays, dude. I still haven't seen a better deal. 3.5 grams. That's an eighth for $20 on a Sunday of shake. I mean, if you're hurting, dude, get in there and get that every other day of the week. It's $35. May have some 605 cannabis news here in a bit. Shout out to Greenlight Dispensary out there on the west side. Shout out to Puffy's, Black Hills Cultivation, Fruits of Freya, which is closing their doors till further notice in Mitchell. Not sure what's going on there, but wish them the best. Hope everything's going on. They are still doing... you can get a hold of them and set up a meeting, so if you need stuff, you can still contact them and set up a meeting. Don't think that you can't get your supplies if that's where you go and stuff. They're still able to give you supplies. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe a rebranding or I don't know. Maybe they're redesigning their logo or some shit. I don't know. I have no fucking idea. And then... yeah, we're going to skip that. I got an interview. Very important person here. I'm not going to tell you who yet, though. Shout out to Cloud9 in Mitchell for being awesome, donating that piece that we revealed on the show, one of the earlier shows. If you missed that, definitely check it out, or at least fast forward till you see the piece. It was a beautiful, beautiful piece, man. Just gorgeous. Definitely going to have it in some pictures and stuff later on. Pure Bliss, Pre-Roll Kings, we're going to talk about them a little bit. Superior Buds, big announcement. They have online ordering now available. So you can order online, notifies you when your order is approved, and when it's ready to pick up. All you got to do is pay when you show up at the shop. All right, so that's a huge thing there, Superior Buds in Mitchell. Also, they have Rare Earth now. Rare Earth is there and available. 2 strains. One of my all-time favorite is there right now. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But also, they're going to have Dakota Greg, as I call him, from Dakota Green. And he is going to be there on the 25th, or the 28th, the day before the big event at Unity Road. He will be there from, I think, 10 to 4. Don't quote me on that, but I'll also be there because I didn't get a great interview with him when I talked to him the first time, and now we got a new mic, we got a new way we're going to do interviews and stuff. It's going to be great. All of it's going to be much better. We're doing fantastic. Everything's looking just wonderful here. And then also From the Hills shout out, still on fire from the Hills, still killing it. If you didn't try the Super Lemon Haze, man, you missed out. I'm sure some people still have it somewhere. You can find it. But that Super Lemon Haze, man, everybody was tearing that up, and it flew off the shelves. Shout out to Superior Bob for the interview last episode. East River Farms has the Sodak Selects from Pure Bliss. They're Pure Bliss carts. East River Farms had those drop, God, probably a week ago by the time you see this episode. So definitely check those out. New player in the cart game, Pure Bliss. And then, so we are here with Charlie Hempseed, the one and only, right here. You can see him. He's on camera. You see that? He's real. Look.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey, look, I can touch him. See, he's right there.
Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, so fucking happy to have you on the show, man.
Hell yeah.
Like, I'm going on fucking 4 hours of sleep right now because I couldn't even get myself to go to bed last night. I was just excited. I was like, fucking, this is going to be huge, man.
Well, I appreciate you having me out. I'm excited as well.
Oh, dude. So many questions, so much. How did the whole Charlie Hempseed start? How did that become a thing?
Man, we're going all the way back to high school days.
Shit.
Oh, yeah. We used to get like the Mexican brick packs, seeded out. Just it'd take you 45 minutes to sort through an eighth. Just
we had the knives that you use for cutting turkeys.
Yeah.
The electric knife. We had those.
Yeah. Man, people don't know the struggle now.
No, man, and you were chopping up seeds, stems, all of it was getting chopped up, dude. You didn't use grinders back then because, I mean, you would have ground up so many seeds and stuff.
Yeah.
You would have just been smoking like seed dust mixed in with your bud, dude. It would have been so bad.
Yeah, you had to really pick it apart and like let it sit on the table for 30 minutes to let air out.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it smelled like a barn.
Yeah, I mean, it would also like fluff up, kind of like unpack a little bit. And so, in your time that you took sorting out your Sims and Steeds, you had a little mixture, ready.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we always, oh, man, those days, it wasn't long ago, man. You used to, every time you rolled a joint, you'd have a little pile of seeds and stems off to the side, and that was just normal.
Yeah.
That's just how it was. Man, I wonder what the THC content was in some of that stuff, dude.
Dude, dirt in the negatives. Who knows?
It definitely was not tested or probably safe.
Oh, no.
Honestly.
You'd find toenails and stuff in it occasionally, just random objects, little figurines, like toys and stuff. And
yeah, sometimes you'd find a really long leaf in there or an extra, like, just a stick.
Mm-hmm.
Like a stick in there. Just, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
Just to add weight. Yeah, dude. Nobody understands. And people complain now. I had a guy comment and say that he can't find more than one or two good strains of weed in South Dakota.
I mean, there's a couple of really exceptional ones. And I mean, there are a couple of really exceptional strains, but we're not at the point yet where there's like, everything's blown out with really high quality stuff yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I go based off of what I've had in South Dakota over my lifetime. So like right now on the show, everything ranks in between like a 7 and a 9 because we haven't really had anything like that. Like, my 1-0 is the brick sawing it off with the thing. So
yeah.
There's a large range, and like I said on one of the earlier episodes, I go back every now and then and I redo the top 10 list because it starts to get cluttered. Like you get a lot of things at like the same rating, and then you go back and you think about it, and you're like, well, I like that one more than that one. So you kind of redo the list, and and I just imagine I'm going to do that. And a lot of stuff's just over time going to fall off the list, but I'll always have the top 10 of like the best that I've had so far in South Dakota. And I think Rare Earth might steal that away, the top spot, because
yeah,
that Strawberry Twizzlers is, man, that's on another level. That stuff's really, really good.
I had a skunk tangy lime from them. It was phenomenal.
Everything from them is incredible. They got they're now doing 2 strains at Superior Buds in Mitchell. Thank God, because that's the closest dispensary to me. Well, that's the way I usually go. I don't usually go to Yankton, but excuse me, I probably should. in the future. I burp up my fucking heart pills that I gotta take in the fucking morning.
Oh no.
It's delicious. It's fucking wonderful. Yeah, I had a heart attack in fucking December, dude.
No way.
Yeah, bro.
Oh
Fucking-
man.
What was I at? One artery was like 95% clogged.
Oh,
And fucking
dang, dude.
yeah, I got a stent put in. They had to. Oh, you see my fucking hold on. I gotta show you my sick fucking heart surgery scar.
That little thing.
That tiny little fucking thing right there, and they went all the way in and fucking up and in
Oh,
and
man.
fucking did everything.
Dude, healthcare scares me.
Dude, the guy acted like it was nothing. It was listed as a serious extreme event or some shit like that. The nurses all said it was pretty fucking bad. The doctor was like, "Man, it was nothing. You're fine." But I think about it, and like he's seen guys come in with like need a triple, quadruple bypass, fucking, and I just needed a couple things cleaned out and a stent put in.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Yeah, you're fine." But yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night, like I just felt weird, and I couldn't catch my breath, and my jaw hurt like really bad. They said a lot of the symptoms I had for my heart attack are symptoms that are common in women. So like the jaw hurting, the not being able to catch your breath, the left arm thing, that's actually more common in women. So like I didn't have a lot of the left arm thing. I always have numbness in my fingers, the tips of my fingers, something with my shoulder, they said. But fucking healthcare.
Yeah. It's weird.
I'm not gonna go in and spend $35,000 to find out what the fuck that is. Screw that. So I always have that, so that never weirded me out, but I couldn't catch my breath, my jaw hurt, and fucking ended up going to the hospital. And if I wouldn't have, they said because my initial thought was like, oh, I'm having a panic attack because I have anxiety problems. I'm having a panic attack, just need to calm down, do a little bit of breathing, and fucking go back to sleep, And that was my first thought, was I was going to lay down, but something about it felt weird. So I couldn't. And then I went to the hospital, and they said if I would have went back to sleep, I would have fucking died.
Well, I'm glad you wake up.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, dang.
Yeah, I got life flighted on a fucking helicopter. First time I've ever flown. Fucking sucked so bad, dude. Life flight. You're this far away from the ceiling with your face, and there's blue lights and shit, and you're like, holy shit, I'm fucking how far off the ground in a tin can, dude? If we go down, there's no way this isn't gonna smash my face, dude. So I had I had to just fight panic attacks the whole way there. It was so bad, dude.
Oh,
it was terrifying. They gave me this, they shot me up with a bunch of shit, bunch of blood thinners. And they had to wait until the helicopter was there and they were ready. Like it was like are you guys ready to go? And they unhooked everything else and they fucking shot a whole bunch of this shit into me. And then they were like, go. And they fucking took me because you have whatever they shot me, you have 30 minutes before I could potentially have an allergic reaction. And if I have an allergic reaction, I just start bleeding out like immediately. So they got me there, and they were asking if it was going to be like a big, a surgery or whatever. I'd just gotten there. I didn't go in a room or nothing. And the doctor looked at my thing and he said, no, we're going to surgery, and fucking tossed the papers over his shoulder, and fucking off we went. And a guy gave me something, and he's like, all right, this is good. This is probably going to put you to sleep. I was like, okay, guys, don't fuck it up.
Yeah. Dang.
Lights went out, man. Yeah, I pretty much got to feel what it was like to die, dude, because it was like they shot that shit in, and then over, you're worried about kids, you're worried about your, my mom, my girlfriend, my house, and then you just get this overwhelming feeling of everybody's gonna be fine, everybody's gonna figure it out, you're not, it's not the end of the fucking world, everything's gonna be okay. And that's the last thing that I felt before all the lights went out.
Yeah, man. That's crazy, and I'm glad you're still here today.
Yeah, fuck, I'm glad I'm here, dude. I'm not fucking doing the exercise and stuff that I'm supposed to do, but I did start doing this podcast thing because, you gotta go after what you're passionate about. And I don't know enough about like marijuana, the plant. I don't know enough about it to like work in the industry. I suppose I could be like maybe a bud tender or something, but I would have to be like taught from the ground up because I don't know much about the plant. I just know that I've been smoking weed for, 21 years ish. No more. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh no. I was smoking weed for 20 some odd years because I'm not much older than that.
Yeah. Well, that's it. So in high school, then we had the Mexican brick packs. We get all these seeds, and then I've always been curious about plants ever since I was a little kid. And I was like, man, I'm going to take these seeds and I'm going to grow them. I'm going to figure it out.
No shit.
So I would go and plant them in the Black Hills, and get them to about chest high, and then I'd start being super paranoid that the cops were watching. So I'd leave them. I would go to a new place, new location. And one day, one of my brothers was like, "Man, you're like the Johnny Appleseed of weed," and that's just kind of how Charlie Hempseed came about.
Dude, that's that's so great because you're just traveling around leaving these little patches of weed everywhere. Oh, that's fantastic, dude.
A lot of the times it was like in a tree clearing that was visible from a dirt road, so we could like drive by and creep and see it, but it wouldn't be so obvious that like we were the ones who planted it by going slow on the road, because I'm still to this day super paranoid.
Oh, dude, I mean, you almost got to be because it's still not federally legal. So the feds can just come in and tear the whole thing down when they feel like it. I suppose states have the right to do their own thing, but states don't really stick up for us when the feds come knocking. South Dakota doesn't really back us, marijuana users. If the feds, I heard somebody recently got raided or whatever for that. You were talking about that earlier. That's terrifying. Got raided for their own personal plants, dude.
And I don't know the whole deal with that. Like from what I heard, it happened. I don't know if apparently the guy this is all hearsay.
Yes. Yeah. This is allegedly, as we like to say.
And it scares me because obviously I have the 2 plants at home. But this person apparently, from what I heard, didn't pay for the cultivation license, and then was over plant count too. So then it's
okay,
but it's like, man, that's a $20 license to be taking somebody's whole future away.
Yeah, but at the same time, bro, you could have spent $20 and avoided this whole fucking mess, man. What are you doing?
And if you're over plant count, I guess that's what you get, and that's why I have only the 2 plants.
Well, over plant count, I understand if somebody's they don't really have the plant count worked out for like heavy smokers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I understand if somebody is over a couple plants on their fucking plant count or something. It's not the end of the world. They're not fucking Scarface ready to start a drug empire. It's not. But if you got like, 200 plants or something, fucking some people can have a lot of fucking plants and they just, it's not safe, dude. It's a big risk right now, unless you get like a cultivator's license or something like that, or get in with a business where they start selling your weed, and then you can become I guess how Pitbull Acres did it is he had a lot of people sign over their cultivating, right? Like he became the caregiver to a bunch of people.
Okay.
And that's how he grew his ability to grow more and more plants until he got big enough to sell to dispensaries. So I guess that's one way to go about it. Another, you have to find somebody with money who can back you into becoming a cultivator, really.
Yep. Yeah, it's really, if you don't have like $1.5 million in the game right now, you're not getting in it.
Yeah, because you got to get the building, and then you got to find a place that'll sell you a building for that, which is, we're still in South Dakota, regardless, of whether or not medical is legal. We're still in South Dakota where, the devil's lettuce turns you into a rapist and all that fucking nonsense. Yeah, we're still there. So there are a lot of people that believe it'll take you away from God and all this other stuff. The most religious person that I know is a regular smoker. The person that I used to criticize, like religious people, especially Catholics and stuff, because I was raised Catholic. I used to criticize people like that, you know, like how dumb are they to believe in something like that. But then through knowing this guy, Wheels, Larry, what's up, buddy? Through knowing this guy, I learned that if somebody's beliefs bring them sorry, it's very cloudy. I don't know if you've been outside in South Dakota anytime, but it's smoky as fuck. It's killing me. It just because if somebody believes something because I think it's stupid, there's no reason to judge them. If you know, my personal belief, I'm not capable of believing that because my brain won't let me. But why would I judge somebody else for believing something that makes them happy and brings them peace? Like, you know, I was kind of being a dick and I didn't really see it that way. But I've known him for some years and he's one of my best friends. So, like, you know, can't always judge a book by its cover, I guess. I don't know where that story was going. I just get on rants.
Well, I definitely feel this. Oh, I feel very strongly about everything. I'm a very passionate person, but here's my stance on that. It's like I told somebody I used to know that if I was a Catholic, I'd be a better Catholic than you are. And they got really taken aback. Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, you claim to live by this book and I don't. Right, so when you claim to live by the book, that means you believe everything in the book. You don't get to pick and choose. You're not a cherry picker. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
All right. Even in the Bible, it says Genesis 1:29, God gave man all seed bearing plant. Now, if you look into that, you can dissect that however you want, but it does go further on in some versions of the Bible that say for food. And I've had this argument extensively with people in South Dakota. It's like, yeah, well, guess what? If we legalized cannabis, it contains omegas 3, 6, and 9. We could grow this to be a superfood. We don't have to use it as a smoke. We don't have to use it as a recreational drug.
We could also use it to make clothing, paper, fucking all kinds of stuff way cheaper than everything else.
What we have to do is legalize it, not make all these crazy convoluted laws.
Yeah, it's what are they doing there? You're right.
And then with the Bible itself, though, that's just it. It's like you claim to live by this book, not me. And that's why I've chose not to live by the book. When you choose to live by the book, you choose to say, I believe everything in the book. And if it's Genesis 1:29 says God gave man all seed-bearing plant, guess what? Cannabis is dioecious. That means it has seed. You can't change that. That's scientific.
Yeah.
You know, and so unfortunately, if you are out there and you're a religious person, you don't get to choose against cannabis. If you're with your religion, it's in the religious book. It's in your diagram of what you have to follow. And
yeah, I mean, well, look at all these other plants that we've studied and done shit to get, you know, all kinds of I don't know, medicines and things like that from all these other different plants in like the Amazon and stuff like. But we have this amazing plant right here. They just recently started studying terpenes instead of THC and CBD content. So we're like terpene testing for medical marijuana is like in its infancy. Like it's just a little baby right now. And there are over 150 terpenes in the cannabis plant alone. And each one of those, some of them, you know, maybe 3, 4, or 5 fall into a group, you know, where they kind of taste the same or they kind of have the same medicinal effects. But even then, you're talking about a crazy amount of potential treatments for all kinds of mental disorders, physical disorders, epilepsy, seizures, any kind of eating disorders. The list is endless for the things that you could treat with this, and people are still saying that it's evil and horrible. Oh, my brother John smoked that stuff. He's been a lazy piece of shit. Guess what? Your brother John was a lazy piece of shit. He just was. Yeah. Marijuana doesn't make you anything. Okay.
Yeah. I love all the memes out there like that. Smoking weed, you know, don't remember kids, like losers don't smoke weed, champions do. And it's Michael Phelps with like that. He's like the #1 gold Olympian of all times. I mean, you were talking about like Usain Bolt, you know, all the NFL players that recently the NFL.
Well, why did Michael Phelps have that incredible lung capacity?
Yeah, absolutely. He's been smoking.
Holding
that
them
key.
fucking bong rips, bro. That like
Well, it's been proven that highly successful people across the board, like Cheech and Chong, everybody said, oh, those stupid stoner burnout guys, like they wrote and directed those movies. They got the funding. They are highly successful.
have their own brand name of almost everything.
I mean, they're incredible.
Yeah.
And so that's just the thing. This is all a really bad public image that has been portrayed, and then people in our state, or well, let's just face it, we're pretty uneducated.
That's just it. It's a lack of education, but not only that, but a lack of interest in education. A lot of these people don't care to be educated because this is what my dad or my mom said, and they're not interested in being corrected.
Yeah.
Like it's the generational ignorance.
Well, yeah, and what you said, it's honestly not even just a lack of like an understanding about the planets. We are not very smart individuals anymore in this state. I
don't think we're very smart individuals anymore in general.
In the country. Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what I'm saying.
For the first time ever,
our public school system here is terrible. It's garbage,
Well, nobody cares. They just, all they want is it's daycare.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I don't know about you. The first time I saw methamphetamines in this state was my freshman year of high school in my physics class. And so I saw two kids doing meth in my freshman year of high school in class. So, and it's like,
Jesus,
we're talking about drunks, kids doing, alcohol, every nicotine, everything else.
Oh, everybody drank when I was in high school. Everybody drank fucking every weekend.
Yeah.
People couldn't wait to get shit-faced.
How many people do you know right now from your high school? And I grew up in Sturgis, so I can say it, I'll say it about myself. If you're not willing to say it about yourself out there, how many people do you know that are highly successful that grew up in South Dakota?
Almost none.
Almost zero.
Yeah.
And we are gentrified right now to a point where we have so many people, especially in the Black Hills area, so many people are coming in from California, from Colorado, from other places where they have sold a house for $800,000 and they bought a house out there cash, and now they're making the people who grew up there, they can't afford it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that's happening out West River, especially where it's all the pretty scenery is. It's becoming impossible to live like Belle Fourche area and stuff like that. Belle Fourche has just some of the most beautiful scenery out there, and it's everybody's just moving there. I live in Tripp, where there is no beautiful scenery really. It's quiet. Okay, it's quiet. People tend to keep to themselves. They'll talk about you before they talk to you, usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, small towns are almost guarded anymore because they don't trust people either.
No. Well, and it's weird. They're very inclusive, and they're also super divided. Like Sturgis itself, the city council is like almost against the people. It's super corrupted, and they can't seem to shake it.
I feel like Hutchinson County, where I live, is a very corrupt place too.
Yeah, it's all the way up. It's all the way up through our state. So that's just it. I feel like, and this is, again, it's not just our state, it's our country. Our people they don't want us to be super educated. They don't want us to be out there making a bunch of decisions on their own. They want us to be looking at the TV.
Your first couple years in school, what do they teach you to do? Sit down, shut up, listen, do what you're told.
Stay in line. Yeah.
That's it. And then they send you out, a place hires you. They give you a manager, teacher, who tells you what to do, shows you how to do it, and then da-da-da, there you go. Now you're doing that. They train you to be an employee. And nobody wants to be a fucking employee right now. You can tell because everywhere's hiring, and everybody's like, fuck you, I'd rather live on the street than work one of these meaningless bullshit 9-to-5 jobs. South Dakota is still on the level of, well, if I get a hard job and I work hard and I do that and I pay my bills and stuff, well, that's a successful life.
Yeah. And
it's like, there's more to life though. You could be more successful. There's more stuff to do than just bust your ass and break your back
Yeah, well, I'll definitely say it just like this. We're resistance to change here. The Southeast Technical Institute in Sioux Falls. I went to college out there for horticulture. We have another horticulture college here, South Dakota State University. We have 2 universities offering horticultural-based degrees, agronomy, and none of them are offering anything to do with cannabis.
Oh.
But it is the number one option for somebody with a horticultural degree in the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, not only do we not care about being left behind in the nation, but we don't care about the students that we're charging hundreds of thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to get this education. We don't care about their future or what that's going to be. We don't want to give them any kind of specialization in what that could be in their future.
That's just it. The part where the higher up people are supposed to care about the people, that part's gone.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a shit about us anymore. They just want us to work their jobs and make them money. And the best thing people can do, I know everybody's bitching that the unemployment rate is out of control and nobody wants to work, but that's just it. Nobody wants to fucking work. For the shit that they're paying, they pay you just enough to get by, just enough to pay your rent, just enough to keep going, just enough. Mm-hmm. That's it, just enough. And it's bullshit, and people are sick of it. And fuck you. Let all the hard-working, back-breaking people go work the fucking jobs, and fucking everybody else is going to find a new way to make money.
Yeah, well, just, again, bringing it back to that, even the marijuana industry here, there's very few cannabis companies that are actually like wholly South Dakota owned. They might claim that they are, but they have huge lists of investors that are either from out of state or they've moved out of state. They're no longer just solely South Dakota interests. Yeah. And anybody who's claiming, the other way around, I feel like I just recently went out to Center of the Nation Cultivation.
I've never even heard of them until I saw your post.
Yep. Yeah, and those guys said, from what I understand, they said we own this. They grew up in Belfouche. They're from Belfouche. They don't have any investors, and unfortunately, they have a long road in front of them. And if they want to be successful, but that's what it takes.
It's not hard to be successful. In order to get into the game right now, all I think you would need is one killer strain. One killer strain would get you noticed, and then you got to have something to back it up. You got to be able to be consistent.
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation. I just shout out to the flower shop. You guys treated me like a real family when I went in there, and told me about a guy who is focusing on a train wreck here in South Dakota. He's growing only train wreck.
Nice.
And so
train wreck's supposed to be disgusting.
Yeah, I had a long time ago. So I would love to have some new train wreck, right, to give it a compare. But really, it's like we have a multitude of things happening. And this is from my perspective, not anybody else's. I think everybody else has their own idea, especially if you're in the game, you have your own idea of the way it's all crumbling. Right now, we have a problem with our customer base because most of our customer base is over 60 and they are looking at solely THC numbers. Mm-hmm. They think that, I can go in there and buy high THC numbers.
Well, that's all that's been studied up until recently when they switched to terps. So
and it's like something that's been convoluted in their brain. What they know is the old brick weed that was garbage, and then as they've progressed into the legal forms of Colorado and wherever else they've been going, they've been able to see, they charge more for the higher percentage, and then over the course of time, I've done that. I've gotten that. It got me way higher than that old brickweed. Mm-hmm. So it's like a learning curve, like that. Yeah. They were like, okay, this is obviously, it means good. Higher is better. And that went along for a good amount of time. Colorado itself had this race for the bottom dollar. Everybody wanted to sell the cheapest ounce, and it basically went down to like $99.
No shit.
And you can get it like a 60.
Oh, please.
Yeah, and you can get $60 ounces out there now. $40 ounces of trim, and
what?
Oh yeah, for sure. But
wow.
But there's been so many cultivators out there, and now there's so many cultivators growing garbage that they're giving away their ounces for $50. And as a cultivator, and if anybody at home has ever tried to cultivate their own cannabis, it's so hard to cultivate an ounce of weed, and to sell it for $50 you're probably taking a massive L, unless you're doing it outdoors or you're doing it
I don't imagine that would be very good though.
And that's exactly what I'm saying, right? So everybody had that race for the bottom dollar, and that kind of influenced the culture here because everybody was driving to Colorado to get their shit. And then
a lot of people.
So now that's what they have gotten used to. And we're talking about older people, not young people. We're older people. No,
these aren't like people trying to sell drugs and stuff. These are people that need their medicine to get by and function in life.
So then fast forward, now that was like a 10-year period of people smuggling their own product from Colorado and getting used to this lower price, higher THC, and just higher quality in general. So as a bud tender here in this state, I saw it time and time again. People were like, man, this is overpriced. Man, this is garbage weed. Man, this has seeds in it. Man, just over and over with the ridicule and not very much praise. And that's because the level of cultivation inside of this state, there's cultivators here who never left. So when I think one of the most dangerous things in history is it's always been done this way. If you're never switching it up, if you're never changing, if you're never progressing with the times, like you've been doing it the same way since 1970 or whatever.
That's how you get left behind.
Absolutely. So, there's people who were growing here or growing in the closet or just growing very small scale. And then there's people who across the country were growing in massive quantities, and they've figured out a lot of different things. So just either tech or processes or, ways to make their quality go up.
Yeah.
And so now what we have here in this state, from things that I've seen personally firsthand, is there's a lot of just very, very mediocre growers that are honestly not even worth their building to be in.
Yeah.
And it's like
they just got there first.
They're claiming that it's medicine and they're spraying it with pesticide.
Yeah. Dude, that's fucking, if anybody's doing that,
they're all doing it. They're like, there's probably just very few people in this state who are actually making medicine. And I will say it. I will fucking call them all out. Dude, I've personally...
That's why I like the ones that I like Rare Earth. They only do small batch. They don't give a shit about having a large supply to make a bunch of money. They care about having the best product. DNG, Eugene is obsessive with how the bud turns out. And I got a buddy that said, he told me, we were talking one day just hanging out, burning one down, and he was like, dude, you ever want to feel stupid, go talk to Eugene about weed, man. He just immediately goes into the science of it and stuff, and you're just just leaves you feeling like an idiot. But that's so great that somebody like that is one of the top people working to grow marijuana in the state. Dakota Green, I really like what they're doing. Mango's a madman out there at the Terp Ranch.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that guy's I don't see how the Terp Ranch doesn't have a fucking reality show. I don't understand how it doesn't, because Mango is... That dude is walking content, man.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to get on that. Get them a show, a little grow show or something, dude, because, man, Mango he's a walking barrel of dynamite, dude.
Shout out to Mango, man. I damn near begged you to get out there. I want to come out there and film the Terp Ranch super bad, man.
Oh, I can't imagine. He's always sending, if you got him on Instagram, sometimes he got nugs like that, that one he had where he had the fingers and it was all just these giant nut. Dude, he's doing some cool stuff out there. The beauty of Dakota Green is they have the indoor grow and they have the outdoor grow. So if the indoor grow or the outdoor grow, or if they have something that's not working, they swap it before they get rid of it. They swap it and they go, well, maybe it's just not an outside or inside plant. Why don't you try it?
Sure.
And then they let the other guy, and sometimes it pops off and thrives, and they get big producers and stuff like that. I just feel like they're another company I feel like is passionate about them. DNG, the rare earth for sure. I haven't really heard too much from anybody else. Cannonauts has had a couple good ones. But yeah, I haven't really heard too much from the other places on what is what has been your favorite strain that you've found in South Dakota so far?
Definitely some of Eugene's stuff, dude. Like that grape rock candy that we smoked earlier was it's nuts.
That was nice. That's what I think is awesome is that a lot of the cultivators are starting to figure out how to get the fruity without the soapy. Some of the terps that give you a good punch with the fruity stuff kind of taste soapy to me anyways. They taste soapy or like aspirin-y or something. I'm not a huge fan, and their growers are starting to figure out how to get it real fruity and cut those soapy terps out so that it's just like when we were halfway through smoking that, you could really taste the grape, almost like a piece of grape bubblicious, man. Like it was so grape right in the middle of that thing. That's just bravo, man. I mean, well done. DNG still just killing it.
Well, he's definitely, if you watch his content, if you listen to Tom, he's always talking about the trichomes. And this is where I really respect his game, is because, you have to think that like essentially all we're doing is using essential oil. And the essential oil is captured in that glandular trichome head. And he's the only one that I've come across that is like saying, even to the state testing lab guy, like, hey man, like you can't be just throwing our buds around. Like you're busting off these trichome heads, and then that's going to lower your percentage on everything, because if you take a bud, and the green leafy material on cannabis does not get you high at all. It does nothing for you. Mm-hmm. It's only those trichome heads that contain that oil. That the cannabinoid. Well,
without the trichomes, you wouldn't have the terps at all, right? Trichomes produce terpenes.
So
or at least they have.
Yes, it's got to be in the oil itself. Yeah.
Right in the trichomes produce the glands or whatever that produce terpenes.
It's all in the oil. In the resin gland.
That's the heart of the plant, basically, right there. Because without the trichomes, no terpenes, no high.
And even the cannabinoids, all the cannabinoids are in that oil too.
Oh, shit. Yeah, so it's useless without... Yeah, and I've seen videos of some people like, hey, look at my stuff, and they'll grab a nug out of this bag, and they'll show it, and then they'll fucking throw the nug back, and you just watch it go back into the... You're like, what the fuck are you doing? Didn't you just spend like 8 weeks or 6 weeks growing that shit? Fucking...
That's exactly it right there. And Tom is so passionate that he's like, no, you're not just going to like... throw my stuff around. Like you're gonna have gentle care, you're gonna set it down nicely, and you can totally tell when you open up his packaging and you hit it with a light, like iridescence. It's like,
who is that? Tea Tree has those jars that have the light in the lid or whatever. That's genius. And then the top of the jar is a magnifying glass. That's so smart right there. That was a genius fucking design. That was, because then you look in it and you're not, because everything's your first, it's all, first appearance. You look at it, you're like, first impression. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. You look at it and you instantly, make a decision in the back of your mind whether you want that or not. And if you're looking at it and you look through a magnified lid onto a lit up bud, I mean, it totally changes it.
Right, yeah.
But they messed up there, because that makes me want to look at all of them.
So, and this is where I will definitely say Dakota Natural Growers and Rare Earth are stand out, because their product is the closest looking to homegrown. where it looks hand trimmed. It looks like it's got lots of trichome heads all over it. It's been handled with care from start to finish. And then it's also in the glass jars where they don't get compressed. So I love Dakota Natural Growers, and I've not been disappointed with any of their flour. But if you guys are listening, I'm not a fan of the Mylar because it smushes your buds. And then when it smushes the buds, the trichome heads themselves can just start gluing together. You'll lose a lot of that to the inside of the bag, or even just gone.
Yeah, I don't think bags are the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely jars are definitely way better. The plastic pop tops, I think, are better than bags. Bags are not good.
Glass is, I guess, the hardest thing to recycle. So if you could get recyclable plastic containers, I think that's the most respectable way to do it. You're not crushing your buds, but it's still recyclable. And then long term, that's another thing that's a real big problem with. Hey, shout out to South Dakota lawmakers. If you're listening to this, this is the problem. You followed every other state in what they were doing. And what we have done in the South Dakota and the rest of the nation is we've created one of the most polluting industries in the world. Because we're using lots of single-use plastics. A lot of the plastics cannot be recycled, and they have to be stickered 3 times, triple stickered, 4 stickered. There's a lot of redundancy that happens that shouldn't have to happen. A lot
of waste,
dude, and especially in this state, the last recreational vote was voted away basically because that one campaign. We got to protect the kids. We got to protect the kids. It's like, and
meanwhile, I can still have a bottle of hydrocodone and fucking just be chilling. I can pop perkies and fucking whatever else around. You can have those around your kids because they're in a child-proof bottle or whatever. Fucking.
Well, and that's just it. And this is where I don't personally care about the kids because I don't have kids. I don't want kids. I got a vasectomy because I think we're overpopulated.
Yeah.
So it's
don't worry, I covered you, man.
That's what I'm saying. And I have all the respect in the world to the people who want to be parents out there.
No, but I'm saying that I have kids too, and I don't agree with this bullshit.
Well, and that's just it. It's like I have all the respect out there for people who want to be parents, but as an American in the land of the free, we're free to choose.
Yeah.
I'm free to choose to not have children. And me being a tax-paying, legal-aged adult, if I want to use cannabis and you're over here fear-mongering laws about we have to protect your kids, fuck your kids, man. You be a better parent, and I don't have to worry about my weed getting into the hands of the kids because we're only selling it to people who are 21 and older. Yeah. And drug dealers
if my
don't
kids
do that.
get their hands on my weed, that's directly my fucking fault.
Your fault, not my fault.
Not your fault, not the guy who sold me the weed's fault. Once it leaves the shop and fucking is in my possession, that is my responsibility. Am I worried right now that my kids are home tearing through my marijuana and trying to get on? No. Because I've raised good kids that respect their parent and fucking do what they're told.
Well,
unless it comes to like doing chores and shit, then they disagree. But big things.
Well, it's just like, right? It's common sense stuff. This is where I feel like we really do stray away from real common sense stuff. When we're talking about that, why did no lawmaker bring that up? Like, hey, well, there's a lot of South Dakotans out here that don't even have children in their house. Or maybe you had 3 children 20 years ago, because most of our patients, again, are 60 and older.
They're retirement age.
So I guess so that was for a recreational thing, and I completely get it, but we're talking about in that law, it was 21 and older. We have security members at every bar that you go to, or the bartender is responsible to checking your ID.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like the consumption lounge, even in Colorado and Nevada, where places like 10 years down the road and they're still fighting tooth and nail to get a consumption lounge.
Yeah, but it's insanity.
We have bars everywhere. We have drive-through liquor stores. What's the problem?
That's one of the main problems with South Dakota is this. I can go to the bar every single night after work, 5 o'clock, 5 days a week, and drink until I can't hardly stand up anymore. Go home, go to bed. As long as I make it to work every day, I'm one of the good old boys.
Absolutely.
I'm one of the guys. I'm one of the hardworking Americans. But if I don't do all that and just smoke a little bit of weed instead, I'm a fucking loser.
Yep.
I'm everything that's wrong with this country. I'm just a disease that's, we're so dumb.
Well, I definitely, so some things that I've been hearing a lot lately here is people comment a lot about me smoking on camera. They're like, man, you really are helping normalize how this feels. And I would say this message to any South Dakota person or any person in the world. That it's like, if you're hiding your cannabis use because you're afraid, like you're ashamed of it, that's wrong on you. Like, if you should be proud of your decision.
Feel ashamed of it.
Exactly.
Your doctor gave you a card.
Even if you didn't have a doctor, it's like,
if you went to a med clinic and did it still.
We have to think about every life experience from our own set of eyes. And me, when I used cannabis for the first time, I was in a very depressed state, and it almost brought me immediately back to being my happy, bubbly self. And I thought the very first time, like, man, I like this. Like, I like this a lot. And like, I don't know why they lied about it. Like, and I thought that the very first time I smoked weed. And it's like, when you have that kind of startling realization of that, like, this makes me feel better, and everybody else around me shouldn't, they don't know the truth.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that made me realize that, like, I don't care what other people think about me.
And you're not hurting anybody.
Well, that's just it. And it's like, I'm not selling drugs to kids. You know, like, I'm not doing anything illegal. And when I do, especially around my own parents, my family members, when I just decided to, like, come out of the closet for smoking weed, I was like, I smoke weed. I smoke weed all the time. This is what I like to do. If you guys don't want to talk to me about it anymore, like, you don't want to be around me anymore, I understand, but this is going to be my life. And everybody then completely supported me. It's also, too, what you're talking about, somebody, you always know that guy who said, well, I know my Uncle Joey started smoking weed and he's just the laziest piece of shit. Dude, that Uncle Joey was always going to be the laziest piece of shit. That was always
in him.
Yep. And there's always going to be a person out there who abuses a substance. Whether that's food, whether that's sugar, whether that's marijuana, caffeine, or alcohol.
Caffeine's a big one right now.
Absolutely. Vaping. I mean, there's so many little devices out there that people use on a daily. So for me, and especially, it just became very clear. Like, okay, I'm not the one who's wrong for smoking weed. It's everybody else making the big deal about it,
making a big stink over nothing.
Yeah. And it's like, I'll step outside and smoke a joint. Like, if I'm at a bar or whatever, and there's there's times I get comments or whatever, and I'll be open to, hey, what, like, you want to talk about it? And most of the times, people who are very ignorant about it, they won't even be. They'll just, like,
they have no interest in being corrected.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ignorant people are totally happy being dumb as shit. Yep.
And so it's an interesting thing. Well, let me real quick hop back to what I was saying about the problem in our market. There's a couple things that I want to, like, hit on.
Yeah. We're gonna bounce around a lot.
Yeah,
there's scatterbrain.
There's all these companies are doing kind of the very same thing. We're like, well, we got to race to get flour out because that's what's going to sell the most, and then we got to get concentrates. So everybody's, like, racing to get those.
Yeah.
But we're not looking at, like, the demand of what the market actually wants, because everybody's got flour now.
Yeah. And everybody's starting to get good flour now. Like, they're really starting to get up there where they're averaging out.
And where the demand really lies is no one's making topicals. No, where are the topicals? We should have 5-6 companies. There's so many companies with manufacturing licenses. Nobody's made a topical cream.
Wow.
I think King of Relief just started.
That's what I was going to say. King of Relief, I think, is the only one that I think they were really turning their focus to topicals.
Right. Where's everybody else at? They think they're going to make the tons of money. And that's the problem. It coming back to
money.
They are not focused on medicine like they are claiming.
Well, is any medical company focused on medicine? Look at what Pfizer did with the vaccine. They said that we're not working on this vaccine for money. We're working on this vaccine for the health of the people, for America.
Right.
And then they proceeded to make over $100 billion off it's not, medicine has not been about making people feel better or healthier for a long time.
Well, and so it's like the diversity of products where, I think From the Hills just started. Were they the third company? So I can think Badlands was first. 605 Cannabis started making gummies, and then it was From the Hills. DNS.
There's a South Dakota one out now that makes gummies. God, I can't think of their name. I feel like such a jerk. It's just SD something or South Dakota Cannabis or something on the bag.
Yeah, South Dakota Cannabis, like 605. It says South Dakota 605 or something on the bag.
I thought 605, weren't they the ones that were in trouble?
Different company, same letters.
So Badlands and 605 are different companies?
Yeah, no. So I am saying two different companies. So Badlands had their gummies very first, right?
Yeah.
But I want to say it's called South Dakota Cannabis Company.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Thank you.
They have, if I'm not mistaken, they have a 605 on the packaging, on the gummy packaging specifically.
I've never had a package because South Dakota gummies don't do shit for me.
Okay. Yeah. And it's like in the shape of a South Dakota.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. The bag itself is in the shape of South Dakota. Yeah. Nice touch, by the way.
Yeah. That's what I was really trying to shout out. So.
Yeah, I shouted out the flower shop the other day for having really cool bags. Like they just had the flower shop printed all over it. Nice flower shop logo on the one side. Superior Buds does a thing where they started stamping their bags, and then sometimes they have like little messages, like little quotes, like handwritten on the bag. That's awesome. I mean, a lot of people are paying. I don't think the issue is at the dispensary, really, because it seems like the people at the dispensaries are having a really good time, and just they're making money there. There's so much that they don't have to worry about the bills and stuff. Most of their customers are in extremely good moods. I mean, they're having really good times at the dispensaries. So it's got to be, other people wanting to sell to the dispensaries that are really getting the money hungry edge of it, because people will pay for good product. Everybody complains about the concentrate prices. Well, until you start buying some concentrates and pumping money at it, people aren't going to be mass producing concentrates. So you're not going to be making, you're not going to be getting them for as cheap. You're going to be getting them for, $80 instead of $40. That's just, the market's going to be where it's at until you throw money into the market,
Well, everything's culminating, all these things that we've talked about too. And one thing that we briefly touched about earlier is how you said nobody wants to work, and nobody wants to work for a company who's not treating them right. And most of these dispensaries have spent exuberant amounts of money trying to get going. And they're behind the eight ball. Because if they have a cultivation facility too, they're in the millions in red. So there's only 10,000 patients. You can do
almost 11,000.
You can do 11,000. You can do 11,000 right now if they max out their sales, and they did that every day for the next year. They're still going to be in the red for a long time. So these dispensaries, these grow operations, the vast majority of them are not making money. The vast majority.
Well, they're paying their debts off. Yeah,
they're going to be paying their debts off for a very good amount of time. It's there. If we look around at the nationwide scale of what's happened, so many companies in Colorado, in California, in Washington, Oregon have shuttered their doors. The big companies do rise to the top. The bad companies fall out very, very quickly. And one thing that we've already seen, I've personally left a company in South Dakota, and it's like you have an opportunity, dispensary owners, to build your team up with real quality people. But what's it take to get a real quality person? Quality money. You know, because
quality money, and not even so much the money.
A work culture.
Like, is it a place that I can tolerate being at every day?
A work culture, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. So I'm glad you brought that up. So when you have high profile companies, sometimes the number one company being sold in your store getting caught up with high profile corruption, and you're being told to lie to your patients about what's inside.
Yeah.
That work culture is toxic. You know, as a bud tender.
If you're like a company's using pesticides, they're not telling anybody or something like that. Because I mean, you have neem oil, dude. Use fucking neem oil. Oh, don't go nuts with it, because
even neem oil, like right now, okay.
They debate that neem oil may cause cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, but there's no studies that really prove it.
I've totally seen studies that talked about azadactrin and
What's
CPS.
azadactrin?
Azadactrin is a chemical very prominently known in Azamax, which is an insect growth regulator. Basically is a systemic pesticide that gets inside of the plant. So when the bugs eat the plant, it ingests the pesticide and it prevents them from going through an instar, which is a stage of life. So it can't progress from like a nymph
so
to
it can't
an adult.
reproduce.
It won't be able to like shed its exoskeleton and go to the next stage of life and reproduce. So or get to the reproducing stage.
So it dies off.
Yeah.
But what happens when we smoke that?
Super big studies about cannabis hyperemesis syndrome and azadactrin poisoning.
Her dad has cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome.
Okay, yeah, and I've never personally met a person with it. So then I would
there's times when he is puking and absolutely you can't really talk to him because he's puking and he's in the only thing that helps is hot shower. And and it happens sometimes for weeks on end. He's been in the hospital half a dozen times for kidney failure from dehydration.
Really?
Yeah. It's so fucking bad, dude. And he'll quit. He'll get better, and then he can smoke. He'll smoke for like a week, and then just get sick as fuck again for. It could be a couple months. Like, he doesn't know how long he's gonna be sick.
So, and this is like the great debate. Is science has not figured it out for sure yet. I personally, Todd from the Hills will text me sometimes. He's like, I don't know how you're doing those dabs first thing in the morning. And I'm like, man, I
love starting off with a nice sativa dab. That super lemon haze I was crushing that every morning, dude.
Yeah.
It was just it gets you right there. You're up, ready to go. And
well, sometimes I think that we're going to find out eventually that people have, or it's possible, and my theory on it is that some people have like a cannabinoid deficiency. I think that I'm just like deficient on cannabinoids because I'll feel super on edge, very paranoid, very like I cannot, just like I've heard you say, like I cannot leave the house, like I'm not comfortable, like I do not like to be around other people. Like I'll
cry under a blanket on my bed.
Yeah,
that's
man.
where I would be right now if I wasn't smoking marijuana. She's seen it.
Yeah.
I'd be on my bed with a blanket wrapped around me, watching movies and stuff, just crying, periodically sobbing.
Yeah,
just, for no reason.
I get it, dude. And people are like, "Oh, dude, you seem like you'd be great at public speaking and stuff." And I'm like, "What makes you think that?" Like, because I'm on camera, like. You can see I'm alone smoking weed in my room like all the time. Like this is what I usually do.
The reason this works is because if something happens that's embarrassing or horrible, we can stop and we can edit it out. There's no fear of anything getting released to the public that you can't first check on. And that is a big difference between being out in front of a large group of people and sending something over the wall. Because right now, I'm talking to you guys, but I'm talking to a camera.
Right.
I'm talking to just a little camera, little tiny camera, not judging me, doesn't make any faces. It's not laughing or snickering or, no ill will from this camera. So I can do this, but if this was a room full of people, there's no flipping way I could do this. Like, that's why right now I haven't been working since I had my heart attack, because before that I had taken off. I started having panic attacks from the thought of going to work with people that I had worked with for like 9. I knew these people. Yeah. And I just couldn't. And then it got so bad I couldn't leave my house for a while. Then I had my heart attack. And then now I'm not able to like, when you wake up in the morning and you're real fucking tired and you just got the like fucking feeling in your gut of shittiness, just like I can't force myself to fucking do that anymore. I can't force myself over that hump. If I have that feeling, I'm not fucking doing it. I would rather fucking live on the street. Yeah. I can't. I just can't do it. I don't know what it is. Something flipped in my brain. So I had to start doing this because I'm not somebody who can not work, but there's no job that wants to hire me because I smoke weed. And I live in South Dakota and I don't want to fucking work in the food industry. So there's no place that wants me to work there because I'm a terrible, stupid pothead. Mm-hmm. So I started doing this. And thankfully, my brother built this studio on a whim because he wanted to do a podcast. And I just kind of snagged it, jumped in here, started doing smoking that ish. And as soon as I had a place for all this energy to go, man, I just started hitting it. And hell yeah. If this could be my job, I'd be more than happy to do this. I mean, I research marijuana. I talk about different strains because I sit at home and I research so much stuff. I have 6 pages of research on terpenes in here for an episode just in case I need stuff sometime. I haven't gotten to it in like fucking 3 or 4 episodes because I can't. If I was just to do what I've researched on terpenes, which is I got as far as like the medical field and what they're doing now, I got that far, and then I would have to do 2 episodes on it already. Yeah. So if I research it more, I mean, I could do 4 episodes on terpenes just because I'm trying to find, the ones that I don't like and the ones that I do like, because the game's, like you said, the game's not going to be about THC and CBD content anymore. You're going to have to, let's say you find a strain that you like. Oh, boom, that strain's gone. And you're like, wow, I want something similar to that. Right now, you'd have to know somebody, or you'd have to just pick and choose till you find something. But if you learn about terpene profiles and what it looks like, you could take that terpene profile and be like, which other strains have a similar one? And just look around the store, find your terpene profile, that one. I'll take that one right there because I know that's the terps that I like. Yeah.
Well, there's also, too, just I'm super happy about the state of South Dakota. So I don't want to like...
No, I'm in no way trying to shit on them, but the people who are trying to hold back and treat this like it's some evil movement. Mm-hmm. Dude, it's not the 60s. We're not hippies. And if you've never smoked marijuana, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut up about it.
Well, I think that is like a whole one aspect of the argument. Like inside of the industry itself, there's a whole nother argument of the people who are doing it for love and passion and the people who are doing it solely out of monetary figures. Yeah. And those people who are doing it out of monetary figures, and this is where if you're spraying your flower, like me personally, I've been really lucky in the last 2 runs doing it in the tent. First it was winter. Now I've just like got bugs outside, not inside. So I've just been really lucky. If you're a farmer, if you've been cultivating for long enough, you'll find out that you're going to get bugs. And it's just a very common thing, right?
How do you get bugs inside?
They'll find it. They'll come in, just like...
Oh, they just like find the little tiny cracks and just get in there and get at it.
Dude, they can smell it. Like it's just like I swear to God, it's like a dog, like a bloodhound.
So there's certain like little aphids and stuff that just like...
They can sense certain plants have like a weakness. Certain plants have a certain sugar content, and they will specifically attack plants.
I like to think about it more like there's a certain group of bugs that really likes to party. Yeah. And they'll go through whatever they got to go through to get that party on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so that's awesome. That's an awesome way to think about it. It's a very fun way to think about it. Yeah. And,
Like, get out of here, you crazy kids. Come on now. Ruining my life.
but even back to like what you were saying about the neem oil. Neem oil is not all bad. You know, most of these pesticides that are approved on the 25B organic list is not all that bad.
Well, I know that neem oil does have some things in it that if you overuse neem oil, those other things in neem oil could become toxic.
So it's not all that bad. If you're using it right, if you're using it in veg. If you're a cultivator, and you're listening to this, if you're spraying your shit in flower, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. If you have problems in flower, you should do the right thing, cut your fucking plants down, wipe it out, clear your room, and restart. Don't be a bitch. You know, that's
if you get like a mold or something like that, you got to clean the whole room out.
If you got PM in flower and you're spraying it, if you got PM in general, powdery mildew, for the people out there who don't understand, this is a fungus that injects itself into the cells of the plant. It does not. People were like, "Oh, I sprayed it and I got rid of it." No, you didn't.
You got rid of the visible layer of it.
There you go. The visible layer is gone. It's still injected itself into the plant cells. Like, it's still there. What happens when you burn it and you smoke it?
You're inhaling that mold.
Absolutely. So if you're out there, if you're a company out there and you're choosing money over morality, you're claiming that it's medicine, but you're spraying it in flour. You're bitches, dude. You all need to, if you're out there.
Yeah, I have lung disease personally. I can't. The only reason I'm still smoking is because South Dakota does not have edibles that do anything for it. I would have to spend, I don't know, thousands of dollars a month on edibles.
Yeah.
To be able to eat. And the thing is, I can't eat enough edibles to do anything for me. I would get sick first from the sugar and shit in them.
And so, from somebody who's personally fought all of the major bugs in cannabis, and looked at my product under the microscope after I fought the bugs, you can't fight spider mites, you can't fight aphids, you can't fight PM, you can't fight most of these things and think like, oh, well, I got it. Because spider mites leave exoskeletons. They leave poop. Aphids leave exoskeletons. Aphids come out of their mother. They're asexual. So they come out pregnant and ready to lay babies.
Holy shit.
So that's how fast aphids can reproduce. I have literally seen, and sometimes they're on Reddit, in the South Dakota Cannabis Reddit page, there were people posting companies that had aphid, just covered in aphids on their flower. And it went to market.
No.
It passed the testing.
No.
So don't trust the testing lab. All right.
We need more than one testing lab too. No offense to Flandreau, like I'm not shitting on you at all. It's just we're getting so many people. We need a second place so that we don't the beginning of July. Holy shit! Well, everything stopped for like 2 weeks.
Again, no. This is if Flandreau takes offense to this. If the Flandreau testing lab takes offense to this, shame on you. You should not want to be the monopoly in the game. It's not how our system is set up. We should have more players. We should have more testers. We should have at least 3 other companies.
We should have a set guideline for testing that you have to do it a certain way, and then we should allow other places to do testing. Not because Flandreau's fucking it up, but because it's too much for you got this much. Marijuana industry flowing into this tiny little funnel. Yeah. And it's just, we're dripping. Dude, come on. We need to open that floodgate. Let's go get product out and ready to go before it sits on the shelves, potentially molds, potentially gets knocked around, knocks off all the good fucking terpenes and what was it?
I don't know which one.
Starts with a TH.
THC?
Nope. The word.
Terpenes and
where do the terps come from? I can't think of
from the glandular head.
Yes, what is it?
The trichome.
Trichome. It's not a TH. I was wrong. God,
You got it.
I don't know why I have some kind of memory loss for some reason. I don't understand why. I can't figure it out. I think I need to smoke more weed. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, we could take a break, man. I got to probably get going here in like another 30 minutes. So
no worries, man. Let's stay and wrap this up real quick. Okay, I wanted to touch on something. You're online. You have charliehempseed.com, which is it's to spread cannabis knowledge, basically to spread cannabis know-how, and also it has things like how to start seedlings, and you also offer a 4-hour course. Now, I wanted to talk to you about this course before you gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
What does this course entail? Because you say that you could take somebody basically like me. I know how to basically grow plants. You take the seed, you get the seed wrapped in the. We used to do it with paper towels. Get the wet paper towel. The little seedling thing comes out. You go plant it. I know that much. But you could take somebody like me and teach me how to grow a decent marijuana plant.
I mean, for sure. I mean, with enough coaching, absolutely, no problem at all. But realistically, the reason I started the YouTube channel is I got out of college and I was like, man, I want to show people how to grow their own cannabis.
Yeah.
And I really tried for a long time at trying to do like educational videos, like how-tos, and, do it yourselves, gardening things. And it just never really took off. The channel never didn't take off.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was trying to, it was 2020. So like the COVID lockdown and everything, I just invested $6,000 into a CBD line. So I had like,
oh shit,
I had CBD oil for humans and dogs. I had a tincture, the tincture for humans and dogs, the rub, and a gummy. So, and I just never was able to get it like off the ground. So there's
so many CBD companies that popped up all at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard, like had I kept going with it, it probably would have progressed with the channel. I stopped kind of like trying with it because I was like, oh man, I'm wasting money and I'm not going to buy new product to try it again. It was a healthy investment for me. So I didn't have the opportunity to do it again, really.
Yeah.
So then, the channel itself has kind of like progressed quite a bit. I've started to do a lot more like comedy skits, like just funny things that are stoner related. But with, Black Hills Cultivation, and that we're talking about trying to get classes, I would really eventually one day like to be able to sell these classes and have a portion of the proceeds go to disabled veterans, so where I can give the classes for free to disabled veterans.
Yeah. As long as you can keep people's grubby little fingers out of it, a lot of that, because veterans need the help, dude. They really do. Mm-hmm. They go over there, they do all this stuff, they come back all fucked up, and basically they tell them, well, you figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's such a miserable way to treat a human being. I mean, because I had friends go over there that I don't even speak to anymore because they're not the same people.
Sure.
They came back and saw and did things that, I don't wish on anybody.
Sure.
I saw some of the happiest go lucky, carefree guys go away for fucking 9 months and come back dead inside. Just hollow, dude. All they wanted to do was drink and just whatever you got that can make me feel numb, I'll take it.
Yeah, well, even what you were saying about like the stigma in South Dakota as a whole, I've seen that personally shifting across the board. Back, 10 years ago, I would have been really secluded to say to people like, I mean, definitely everybody in my circle, like in the immediate, knew that I was smoking weed, growing weed. But
oh yeah,
it was like, now I'm not afraid to tell anybody, and I'm proud of it. And I'm like, dude, this is what I do. And people,
That's why I wear mine around my neck, because of where I live. Everybody always has that stigma. You stupid fucking druggie. Right here. Yeah. It's prescribed to me. I'm one of the few people that went through a medical doctor. My doctor that I've seen for years was like, right after I had my heart attack, and they're like, you need to calm down and chill out more. She's like, okay. Like, I know that weed helped you. I can give it to you now, and you won't have to go through anything. And yeah,
and I mean, dude, it's what's even wild. I heard last night, David from the coffee house got pulled over after leaving the dispensary, and they gave him a fucking ticket, a possession ticket.
What the hell?
And he's
dude?
a card holder. You know, it's like if you're a cop in this state,
how do you get a possession ticket when you just left the dispensary?
That's what I'm like, man. I would have refused to. And dude, if this has anything,
you need to fight that, dude. That's not right. That's not right.
If that has anything to do with racial profiling, you fucking cops are sick bastards, dude.
Yeah,
like,
I know for a fact there's racial profiling. Okay, I'll tell you a story. I had a buddy. I grew up with a black man from Detroit. Basically taught me everything I know. He's the reason I say yes, sir, yes, ma'am. He taught me all that shit, and he also taught me how to sell weed. Like, he taught me a lot of things about life and stuff. And he got in trouble for selling 2 ounces of marijuana to an undercover FBI agent. And so he went to court. Same day he went to court, there was 3 white guys that went to court the same day, and they had beaten a woman almost to death and then took turns having sex with her. And he got the same amount of time they got. They all got 3 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And when he sentenced the 3 fucking disgusting guys that raped this girl, he didn't have nothing to say. But when he sentenced my black friend Henry from Detroit, he sentenced him, and right after he sentenced him, he said, "And Mr. Rivera, this is not Detroit." You know, really put a stamp on the end of it.
Yeah, I would if I would have been David last night in that situation. I don't know what you did because I was not there. This is all hearsay.
Well, you got to also think from a black man's perspective. You're not trying to get tased, beat,
dude, and that
fucking none of that shit.
I don't have that perspective, so I didn't hear it from David either. So maybe I shouldn't even be talking about it. I don't know.
I've always been afraid of the cops.
And that's
always,
just it.
Ever since I was a kid.
I would have been furious. I'd have been like, man, you are a thug. I would have told the cop directly.
Biggest gang in the world.
You're a thug. Call your supervisor. I'm not even taking that ticket because the law states that you can't give me one.
Yeah.
And I was like, and unless you plan on being a criminal, you should be the one getting a ticket.
Well, you can't wait outside of a bar and pull over drunk people because it's entrapment, but you can wait outside of a dispensary and pull over somebody for having marijuana. I don't know anybody who has a fucking Bush Light card or a fucking hey, I got my tequila card today. Doctor says I need to drink tequila. I don't see anybody with one of those.
Well, it's just he didn't get a DUI. You know, he didn't get a DUI, just possession. And
he shouldn't have gotten any. He shouldn't have gotten bothered.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, like I wouldn't have even taken the ticket. I would have been like, nah, call your supervisor. I'm not even taking that. Like I won't even touch it.
But you could. I would just take the ticket because you can very easily go to court and deal with a comparable judge and other people in the room. You know, you can't take that to court and have 5 people stand there and go, nope, you're fucking, I don't care if it's not the law. You're, you know, but you can have, if you argue with that one cop, he can turn your whole day however shitty he wants to. You'll end up down at the station, handcuffed to a bench. Nobody will listen to you. He'll make you sit. If it's Friday, he'll make you sit the weekend. Yeah. You know, you don't get to talk to a judge till Monday. He can do all of these things to you. So I would just take the ticket, smile, thank you, sir. And I would go to court and be like, this doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense.
Well, dude, I'll tell you.
This plus the ticket, no makey sense.
These 2 incidences alone have made me so, not the 2 incidents. Really 3 incidences, right?
Yeah.
The whole Delta 8 product thing and that being swept under the rug. Like I'm moving. I'm probably gonna go to Colorado.
Yeah.
Like probably within the next 5 days.
Yeah.
Like I'm so.
I noticed that your website's like based out of Colorado.
Yeah, I was there for 5 years. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I used to live out there in Winter Park and Fraser.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so I managed a vineyard in Palisade.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was there for almost 5 years.
Managed a vineyard. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Look at you doing stuff.
Yeah, man. This is my 4th year beekeeping. I do all my
own heard I used to have a boss when I worked at a bar that was a beekeeper.
Yeah.
I heard there's good money in that and it's not very hard to do.
It's they lied. There's not great money in it and it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he did it for like 20 years and just retired from it recently. So maybe there was a lot of money in it.
You have to be like a really big player in the game.
They were huge. They traveled all through the South, just going to different hives that they had set up all over the place
for like pollination and stuff. And that's cool. But to get into a pollination, you have to have over 100 hives, and like one hive setup costs you $600.
Oh, so I think he started working for another guy and then eventually just bought his own hives and shit.
Yeah, I mean, then he
bought all his own hives, got them all running real good, and then sold the whole thing to one other guy.
And that's cool. You know, I did 5 at the height of it, and 5 hives, and it was a lot. It was a lot of work.
Oh yeah, he was before he retired, he started this bar while he was still doing it, and there was times when he would get calls, something happened, colony died out, and he'd have to, nope, he's going down to fucking Texas or some shit, and going down to see what happened and sort it out, get a new hive going, and fucking.
Well, there's also equipment, you know. It's like if you get into it big time and you get like the machines to harvest your honey and whatever. I was doing it all by hand. You know, like to do it all by hand is crazy. And
but isn't that the best?
Well, I mean,
as far as quality goes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about honey. Like,
well, I personally buy the honey that has the honeycomb pieces in it, anyways.
Yeah, that's cool. I like farmers markets and stuff. Where you just get the square.
Yeah. I like dude. I love pulling that out and fucking taking a bite of that waxy shit. Mm-hmm. It's got all that fucking delicious honey on it, dude. Dude, honey is. I don't see why we're using all this damn sugar and everything. We should be sweetening stuff. Fuck aspartame, that is proven to cause cancer, by the way. Proven to cause cancer, and is in fucking everything that's zero sugar that you see everywhere on the market. Why aren't we sweetening stuff with honey?
Hey, well, it doesn't take a genius to start putting some of this stuff together, y'all. If you drive, I just drove from South Dakota to Wisconsin. As I drove across the state, I was pleasurable viewing sight of tractors with 20-foot booms on either side of them so they could spray their genetically modified corn, soybean, and wheat with their basically
whatever Monsanto has fucking mixed up for them to spray this
which
year.
Which is basically a glyphosate, which glyphosate is basically Agent Orange. You know,
you know that stuff that made everybody sick back in like the Korean War
and Vietnam, everything. Yeah, this is the exact same thing. So
might have been Vietnam, not the Korean
War. So either way,
I was dead.
There's 3 main crops in South Dakota: corn, soybean, and wheat. All right, the 4th is sunflowers. Those things happen to be genetically modified and patented by Bayer Monsanto.
What? You mean sunflowers don't always grow this fucking big with just seeds upon seeds?
So when you get deep into the conspiracy theory of like what's going on here in South Dakota, why is it still illegal? The fact that supposedly Kristi Noem's husband selling crop insurance to things, and that they wouldn't allow hemp to go through legally in the state until the DEA and the federal stance on hemp changed, and they passed the 2018 Farm Bill, and then they allowed companies to actually provide crop insurance on that. Then all of a sudden, magically, it passed here.
Yeah,
you know, and so then to think that they aren't getting kickbacks from some of the largest, man, they're. I feel
you know how many people are getting fucking let's go out and have some drinks, and then they're sitting there, hey, listen, Jerry, just cut the shit, dude. I'll give you $150,000 if you just slide this thing on through, you know, like, and fucking guys that aren't making that in a year go like, oh, what, 150, 250,000, like $250,000.
Yep.
I mean, I suppose I could let this one slide, and then everybody's knocking on your door going, hey, I heard what you did for fucking Bob. Mm-hmm. You want to come over and fucking help me out? Like, it's just and if you don't, they'll be like, remember that time when you were fucking 15 and you threw a rock at a fucking disabled kid? Now you don't have a fucking job anymore. Like, well,
dude, it's just this. It's the latest.
That girl you dated that hated you 20 years ago, she's gonna say you raped her now. You don't have a fucking job.
Yeah.
Like, They can just eliminate these people who won't play ball.
Well, and that's exactly. I'm trying to word my shit here very carefully because I already know these people want to fucking sue me.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm out here telling the truth and they aren't. But when we have a company importing 14.5 pounds of flour from outside of state, when you have a company importing 45,000 grams of distillate, people don't understand that. That's like a 55-gallon barrel full of cannabis oil distillate. They were watering these carts down to 53%. If you do the number on how many carts they had, we're talking about $2.7 million worth of product that was sitting.
Holy crap.
And it just got swept under the rug by the state.
Huh.
So it's like, you think there wasn't a payoff? You think that somebody didn't get some money?
There's too much money floating around, and South Dakota's not a rich place, dude.
No.
Dude, $250,000 would change my fucking, not only my life, my kids' life, and my grandkids' life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people are, unfortunately, I feel like it's an easily corruptible place, but we do have, on the other end, we do have some people that have iron wills and are willing to go down without, compromising their integrity. I hope that we have more of those, because
I hope so. This is the problem with our society as a whole. We have moved away, and I really respect the whole thought of like Native Americans being all in this group community out on the prairie, right? If you think about how they were living, if there was like one little boy acting like a shit, you're all in a community, like everybody in the community would have slapped him upside the head.
Oh, dude, I got my ass whooped by people that were not my parents when I was growing up regularly.
And now we live in this society where we're all so disconnected. Like this lady was raped on the subway in New York, and people filmed it.
Yep.
And
your
nobody
first
stopped
instinct
it.
is to pull your phone out now.
Yeah, and it's like this: 8 out of 10 people are just completely unwilling to get into confrontation.
That's why I don't live in a city.
Yeah, and then if you look at the leftover 20% of what is available, right? So maybe one person actually has enough altruism to stand up for you. And maybe the other person is like, I don't even care. I mean, about
you also got to throw into like what's happened that day. What mood is that person
Everything.
in? I mean,
so when we're facing,
maybe they're in like a self-hatred mood where they're not even noticing what's going on or something. You got to be in the right mind space to fucking be like. But if you're I couldn't imagine being within earshot of somebody being raped and not doing something about it.
I would fucking do everything. I would die trying to save that person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, how could you not?
Yeah.
I don't see any other way to do it. How could you stand there? I feel like you're just standing there watching, filming, especially like you're just as fucking guilty. Because I feel like that people nowadays just have this attitude of it's not my problem, and that's not correct. Mm-hmm. It is everyone's fucking problem. Yeah. Because next time that could be happening to somebody, that same person or fucking another person like that could see that happening and be like, oh shit, I can just fucking rape somebody and nobody's gonna do nothing. Like, you, as a society, every time you stand by and allow some shit like that to happen, you're complacent in the way that it's fucking going on.
So, and that's exactly it. And I'm glad we're pointing in all these little topics, because it's like in the Holocaust, I think the saying goes like, first they came for the blacks and I didn't stand up for them because I wasn't black. And then they came for the gays and I didn't stand up for them because I wasn't gay. And then they came for the Jews and no one was able to stand up for me because there was no one left.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're a company in South Dakota and you're watching these other high-profile companies break the law in felony level breaking laws, like, right, you and I would be sitting in the pen, and we're talking major time.
Oh, dude, if I got caught with an open container of fucking concentrates, I'm going to the pen. That's a meth charge.
They flowed in 45,000 grams of distillate illegally. There's no record of it. There's no record of it. And where are the cops? And so what is happening? We have corruption that is uncomparable, and it's like, we're not even going to find them.
But I get what you're saying is these other companies could be sitting back, see something like that happen and go, oh shit. I don't have to obey the rules.
No, well, that's not what I'm saying. I hope that's not what they're thinking.
Well, I'm just saying,
I
for a
think
lot of free money out there.
I hope that you guys actually, the good ones out there, actually have the grit to say, I'm fucking standing up against this. This is bullshit that the state let this slide. We are all going to pool together and start a class action lawsuit. This needs to come from the dispensaries.
Yeah.
Because
well, they're the ones that really took the hit because they didn't know what they were selling.
And I'll say it.
Allegedly.
I'll say it, you fucking dirtbags. If the dispensary owners get back into bed with these people, they were in on it the whole time.
I already heard that from somebody that I know. I already heard that everybody's just okay.
They're just going to get back on the shelves. Everybody's just going to start selling their product again.
Mm-hmm.
That is bullshit.
That's what I heard.
If you're a patient, boycott every single dispensary that puts them back. Every single one. You're not, because ultimately what that comes down to is the dollar bill. You're not about the patients. You lied. You lied about the product. You lied about what was in it. You lied to us about what happened.
For money.
For money.
Yeah.
This is corruption in its finest. These people should...
But corruption is just par for the course
Not
anymore.
only should it happen, but you deserve to be rotting in jail. Because that's what would happen to me and you.
Oh, for sure, dude.
And so, dude...
I literally tiptoe through life. I mean, I have tattoos on my face. I've shaved my head. I tiptoe through life because anytime a cop pulls me over, he's like, fucking, how long did you sit and where were you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't and I haven't.
Yeah.
No, but the teardrops I have two of them for some people that died when I was in high school. There was a bad accident. I had just moved back from Colorado and they were on their way to my house for a fucking party and they were at another house party. Everybody had been drinking. They got, we're going real fast. A couple people died. A really good friend of mine was one of them. The other one was a girl that I didn't know, but I feel she died on her way to my fucking house for some stupid party that didn't need to fucking happen, And then the other one's for my dad. He went to prison when I was young, and when he got out, he moved away, and I never took the time to, build a bridge there or really talk to him or ask him any of the questions, that somebody, because I didn't have my dad from when I was 9 till I was 18. He was in prison.
Fuck.
So, and I never reconnected with him or anything because I was always tied up in my own stupid bullshit. And then he died in a motorcycle accident. Damn,
I'm sorry to hear that, dude. I'm a motorcycle rider, so.
Oh yeah, dude. It's a big thing in South Dakota. He had a nice fucking Harley, whatever the Centennial Edition or whatever the fuck they had, and he had it lowered 3 inches because he was fucking 5'2". So he had his fucking bike lowered 3 inches, and I think he had a soft tail on it.
That's sick, man.
He did. Yeah, and I have 2 pictures of him at my house that were taken from the back of his buddy's motorcycle. He was riding to get patched into some group in Arizona just for fun, just a bunch of buddies. And they were riding to go get patched, and fucking they got a couple pictures of him at a gas station and shit, and never seen him happier, dude. And then right after that, they said there was a curve and everybody went around the curve, and for some reason he just didn't go around the fucking curve, just went straight off the fucking road and died.
Yeah, dude, it's the number one. It's 80% of fatalities on a motorcycle happen from not negotiating a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, very unfortunate.
Well, he also had COPD like I have. He had all that, and he had other issues too. They think maybe that he blacked out.
Mm-hmm. Could have been anything.
Yeah, he could have blacked out when he took it, or he just could have fucking zoned out and not realized it. Who knows?
That's all it takes, man.
Yeah, but still, to fucking die in a motorcycle accident is way sweeter than fucking getting old and dying.
It is, dude. Honestly, that's why I'll never stop riding. Because
he would much rather have that be the way that he went out.
Yeah,
died in a motorcycle accident. That's If I know my dad. I knew my dad pretty well, and I know my brother knew my dad even better, and we've talked a lot. I think fucking dying in a motorcycle accident would have been pretty sweet. As far as ways that you could possibly, dying of ass cancer in the hospital is not a glorious way to go.
Not a fun one, dude. Yeah.
No.
So, and I'm super sorry to hear about your dad, man.
Oh no, that was 7 years ago.
Yeah. Well, to wrap it back into the companies thing, you guys need to don't be the standbyers watching the girl get raped. Stand up for what is right. Like, don't allow them back into your store. If you do, it's because you were in on it and you lied to the patients too.
Or you're just wanting the money.
And then we don't care about you. You know what I mean?
That's just it. The medical users in South Dakota are a group right now that could easily be taken advantage of. Easily.
Mm-hmm.
So many of the people that hold med cards don't know anything about marijuana or anything about the plant itself or the nugs or potential pesticides, potential reactions from pesticides. They don't know.
Yeah.
They could just be like, oh, when I smoked that one, I felt kind of nauseous and sick. And so I didn't smoke that strain anymore. And it's not the strain. It could be a pesticide left over from being sprayed when they're flowering instead of, before, like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And people won't know. People could be making themselves sick with what's supposed to be medicine. Like it's very corrupt. It's easily corruptible. And it's just, I don't know. You need a lot of people who really stand by their morals need to be running stuff right now.
It. We need people who are morals over money.
Yeah, because if it gets built up corrupt, it's going to be corrupt the whole time, and we're going to end up smoking dog shit. I personally am going to end up getting sick, and nothing good will come of it. But hey, a whole bunch of people will make money, so who gives a shit?
Well, that's just it. Like, if you are a company and you're watching this, right, you should take note of the things that we have said. We're coming up on a time where you can only treat your employees shitty for so long before they start seeing what the company is actually about.
Yeah.
And if you've been in business for a year now, the cracks are starting to show.
Sure.
And if somebody's been with you for a year and you're not giving them like annual progressive payments, or hey, you're a value to us and we're going to compensate you through money, then they're going to leave you. And if you don't have a solid team to run your company's going to fail. So it's like that is a huge thing. But two, it's people are they're now also, we have a huge layer of home growers.
Yeah.
Bigger than we have a
lot of people are fucking taking care of themselves.
A large community. We're probably one of the largest home growing per capita states in the country.
Well, because it's a farming community anyways.
Yep.
I mean, you got people who already know about plants and growing and stuff. And then a lot of these people are growing at home and they're going, shit, I got better stuff than they got at the dispensary.
Yep.
And,
so you better be careful.
Yeah. And they're totally happy. Well, all right, man. We're going to wrap up. Yeah. I know you got to get going. We're going to take a break here. I'm going to go smoke something and fucking come back and talk about it, man. Cool. A big thank you. Charlie Hempseed, charliehempseed.com, Charlie Hempseed on Instagram. Make sure you check him out, hit him up. Tons of videos, always doing crazy dabs. The dude goes live at like 6 a.m. sometimes. The guy's out of control, man. Like, you really got to check him out. Tons of fun stuff. Extremely knowledgeable. So check him out. Charlie Hempseed, charliehempseed.com. All right, we'll be right back.
Thank you guys for having me.
Dude. All right, we are back. Well, I'm back anyways. Boy, that was a lot. That's why I did the shout outs beforehand. That was a lot of content right there. Want to get a huge thank you to Charlie Hempseed for being here and for doing the interview. Just can't thank him enough. It was great. All of it. I don't know. We totally meshed. That was great. That was a good time. And as far as like all the stuff going on, all the legal stuff going on with everything, we here at Smoking That Ish, we're like Switzerland, dude. We're neutral on it until something definitive or definite comes out, or like we don't. I don't claim to know anything, so I just if the accusations are true, then somebody who would do stuff like that, of course, they should be reprimanded in some sort of way. But I don't claim to know anything, and there's might be papers floating around that shouldn't be. Just we're not trying to get involved in any of that stuff. So We review everybody, and if the only way you're going to hear stuff from us is if we try one of your products that are booty. And I will be very open with booty products. I always am. Dun, 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 dun. So, after that, and after all the allegedly stuff, I did manage to get in a review on a strain, and not the Grape Stomper, although that should be on here, but I feel like this one would still be better. This is perhaps the best marijuana strain that I have tried since in South Dakota, from South Dakota, ever. It's this is going to be the new number 1. And I am going to make this a South Dakota 10, because this is going to be where I'm going to rate everything from. Like, mind you, I know a lot of our stuff comes in between 7 and 10, but that's because a 1 is like Mexican ditchweed. Okay, so this is going to come in number 1. I'm going to give it a 10, a solid 10. It's Strawberry Twizzler from Rare Earth Craft. Yeah, it's definitely it's just the reason I'm gonna give it a 10 is because it's Rare Earth Craft cannabis, 23.77%, and it is a hybrid. It's a little pricey, $52 at Superior Buds, plus tax comes out to about $55 an eighth, which is a little bit spendier, but this is beautiful flower. I smoked this. It's they managed to nail the strawberry fruity taste with none of the soapy kind of terpenes, or I don't know if it's chemi or what. Just something that you wouldn't expect on something that's supposed to taste sweet, you know? And they really cut out all the stuff that's not the strawberry goodness. And I don't know. It's got a high THC content, you might have noticed, but it's a very uplifting high. It is a hard hitting high. Like, it gives you the mental sedation you're looking for, but it does not debilitate your body. It doesn't give you couch lock or put you in the couch, you know? Like, you're able to still get up and do stuff. And another reason I'm giving it a 10 is because I could smoke this all day long, every day, no problem. This is a strain I could smoke for months. I could smoke that. It's a really good high. Really, the buds were nice, beautiful cloud-like buds, almost like little pillows. You squish them, they come right back up. They were just covered in little red hairs and fibers, and just shiny, beautiful. Yeah, I don't know. It was, everything about it was great. There wasn't I don't have anything bad to say about it. There was nothing bad about it. So that's why I give it a 10, because I can't find anything negative to say about it. I liked it so much. And I know you've probably seen Strawberry Twizzlers around a lot. Strawberry Twizzlers has been quite a few places. Don't forget about Sodak Selects. They're at East River Farms, the Pure Bliss carts. So don't forget to check those out. Those are there and possibly gone by now from East River, but they should be showing up everywhere else around the time this comes out, if not a little bit before. So get out there and get your Sodak Select carts and try them out. See what you think, dude. I, for one, am excited because Pure Bliss has over 100 strains that they've done. And that's a lot of flavor to choose from. There's so many different flavors right there. I really look forward to having carts with flavor again, because we don't have a lot of that. And it's a huge bummer, you know? Let's see what we got for... that's all my terp stuff. We're still not there. Guys, we're just knocking out content. Sorry. Levi, thank you for the shout out. Appreciate you. To my nephew Mason, dude, I love you, man. He recently is retiring from BMX riding, and he's super humble and extremely kind-hearted, and he's the nicest guy, but I know that he's having like an inner turmoil, like it's a big change, you know? And hopefully I can have him on the show sometime when he's back in the area. I'd love to talk to him about BMX life and just riding around on the bike, living in your car with your dog, you know, fucking living the life, dude. Cause he's, you know, he was BMX riding, like doing the jumps, doing the everything. I don't know any of the technical terms because I'm a fucking loser, but he was for real. He was legit as fuck, and I would love to have him on the show and talk about it. I think he's in Nebraska right now, which boo Nebraska. Not for any reason, just besides I want him to live here. And then also a shout out to my niece Haley over there in Colorado. Fucking thank you for watching the show. Appreciate you. I love next time you're in the area, anytime you could be around, bring something from Colorado and we'll fucking compare, dude. We'll see. I bet Colorado's got crazy shit now. Fucking bring me some decent edibles when you come down, dude. We got nothing here. Nothing. I'm forced to smoke, man. I ain't got a choice. But I love you guys and I appreciate you guys watching the show, man. It means a lot. Thank you. Aaron, good advice on cutting half the pre-roll off and looking at it and then putting the rest in a glass piece or a bong and taking a hit. It really gives you a good flavor. I've learned a lot on the quality of some pre-rolls. I saw that Eugene a week ago or a couple weeks ago at this point, by the time this comes out, had released a video where he took some shots at DNS about the quality of their marijuana. I don't know. Personally, I haven't ever seen issues myself, but he had it on video. So he did take some shots there. Be the first shots fired. But nothing bad from over there at DNG, you know. He's just giving him shit. I don't feel like it was malicious at all, honestly. So that's just my personal opinion. But everybody in the game right now who has been sitting comfortable and has not been constantly improving your game, you're gonna get bypassed. You got to keep constantly rolling forward, coming out with new stuff. It doesn't matter if your stuff hits hard anymore. Everybody has something that hits hard. Now you got to have something that hits hard and has a great taste to it, or it meets a certain other area, you know, chemi or you know, something like that, or something disgusting like Mango and them guys, like, you know. You got to have something special, man. You can't just keep coming with the same old and expect to stay in the game. Not right now. Everybody's really killing it between DNG, Rare Earth, Pure Bliss making a big push in flower and stuff. And like I said, they came out with carts now. So there's a lot going on, man. You really got to be on it. You really got to be on your game. Yeah. I was just going over stuff to make sure that I said we were like Switzerland, because I don't want to not trying to get involved on anything that is above my head, you know. If I don't know. I'm so confused on the whole thing, and maybe that was the intention of it. I don't know. But I don't want to sit back. I've been in legal trouble myself. I don't know. I don't know how much of that is reliable or whatever information, but just know that we fully believe innocent till proven guilty here at Smoking That Ish, 100%. Let's see. Is that about it? Dun, dun. Oh, I missed a few questions for Charlie while he was here, but man, we were just flowing, dude. We were flowing. Oh, here's something I wanted to bring up. Pure Bliss, the pre-roll kings. I compared a Mad Honey to a 3-pack of the Royal Wedding from Bad River Cannabis. And Bad River Cannabis, buddy, you got to step up the quality of bud you're putting in your pre-rolls. The Pure Bliss is putting at least B-grade nugs in there. And yours kind of looked, it didn't look the best. It looked brown colored compared to the one from Pure Bliss. It was not, and I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying, hey, Bad River, you might want to step up your pre-roll game because I know your pre-rolls. The price is great, 3 for $15. You were doing that's I know, but maybe the price has to go up and the quality goes up a little bit because you're not going to be able to get by with those forever. Just that's personal opinion. Just saying, it was not hard to tell that the Pure Bliss pre-roll was better. Let's see. And Sodak Selects dropped at East River. Sioux Falls, definitely check them out. Online ordering at Superior Buds. Big old deal. Dakota Greg going to be there on the 25th or the 27th. 28th? 28th. Yeah. There's big things on the 29th. Yeah, there's that going on. If you didn't have Super Lemon Haze, man, you're going to be bummed out. That stuff was very good. You missed out, man. Just I'd be super bummed. That's a good if you're a fan of doing dabs, all day anyways, that was a great morning dab. Just a beautiful morning dab. Perfect high to go out and just kick the day's ass, But yeah, we got a new number one. Strawberry Twizzlers in at number one from Rare Earth Craft Cannabis. And then at number 2, Dakota Cookies from the Hills. And at number 3, we got Lemon OG Do-Si-Do from Dakota Natural Growers. At number 4, we got Bahama Berry from Cannonauts. At number 5, we got Roast Mellow from the Hills. So if you're counting, that's 2 on there from the Hills. At number 6, we got Hooligan from Cannonaut. That's 2 for them as well. Also tied at number 6, we got Mad Honey from Pure Bliss. At number 7, we got Jack Hare from the Hills. At number 8, we got 10 G's from Bad River Cannabis. At number 9, we have Frozen Fuel from DNG. And at number 10, also tied at number 9, we have Chem D from Pure Bliss. And then that would knock off Blue Magoo and Astro Dog from Dakota Natural Growers. But mind you, that puts 2 of Dakota Natural Growers at both 11th and 12th. Like, they're both right off the list, just right there. They were close. Close, man. But yeah, and then we have a lot of good pre-rolls also. I explained those. We didn't have a new one this week. So that is how the list currently stands. So anybody who is not on that list, step it up. If you're on that list but not enough time, step it up. If you're on that list but not as high as you would like to be on that list, step it up, man. It's a very competitive game right now. I love where the South Dakota market is at. It's a real smorgasbord out there, dude. You can get all kinds of stuff for all different kinds. You can get your fruity weed, your chemi weed, I want this to put me to sleep. I want this to give me a little boost. Everything you can think of, you can get out there. So if anything I said today, or that that we talked about allegedly, upset you or angered you or made you kick the dog or made you forget to grab your cigarettes when you left for work and now you got to work a shift with no nicotine, you got to bum cigarettes off of people, but you don't like to bum cigarettes off of them because then they always give you shit about bumming cigarettes all the time and they're always making fun of you and stuff. Nice sticker, Rare Earth, by the way. Nice sticker. I love it. But if anything I said bothered you in any way, just remember, you can't be mad at me for what I said when I was smoking that ish. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.